If the customer asks for open costing, are you guys comfortable showing all the details?
That's interesting. That's an interesting question.
Hi, welcome to the Voice of Vietnam Manufacturing Interview Series. My name is Chris. I'm a sourcing expert that's been living in Vietnam for the last 10 years. Today, allow me to introduce you to...
So are all of your customers still in Australia?
And US.
Advice for foreign buyers coming over to Vietnam and how to negotiate? Like, should the buyer give their target price? If the buyer doesn't give you a target price, how do you feel?
That's fine. We just base the costs on
our business,
on actual.
What we know.
So it's So what we know, the fabric is it's all the same. It's,
and what we need to make, and we have numbers. We know what we need to do to keep everything running, and so we just have to be confident in that. Target prices are helpful, and it's also good to know if we have a chance or not. From the get-go, so don't waste any time. But we've just come to a point where we've just had to go, well, this is the pricing, we know what it costs, and we're not being greedy as well. We're offering good value. So
if the customer asks for open costing, are you guys comfortable showing all the details?
That's interesting. That's an interesting question.
I would say it's your right. It's your right not to show it.
I mean, we like to be transparent, but we also don't want to give away. The main reason they want to know that so they can squeeze us more.
Exactly.
So that's why we don't feel comfortable.
I mean, I just don't think that's really anyone's business. It should be if the cost is okay for them, they go ahead with that. If they want to have some negotiation, and we can see percentage up or down, down that we can go for, and I think that's the best way of viewing it. It's not like we are going to our customers going, "Well, how much are you selling it for? How much is it done?"
Exactly.
So I think that question is a little bit, it shouldn't be asked in the first place. We can be as transparent as we can be, but I think there's some things that should be left for the company itself. And if you see that the price is okay, then we go ahead. If not, then then that's fine as well.
Plus, they can't really control the costs here. If you're in a different country, they can't go to our supplier or find they don't know the quality, they don't know the...
Exactly.
So that's where it's a bit tricky.
My response would be like, okay, if I do show you the open costing, do you know how much work you're going to have to do to verify everything? And so what do you want me to do? Give you the names and contacts of all my suppliers so you can call them and check to see if we're being honest or not?
What do you think about it?
Do you have questions about producing in Vietnam? Join one of my live webinars every Wednesday, 1 in the morning and 1 in the afternoon, that include a 20-minute question and answer session. Links are in the description below.
When you're dealing with the Tommy Hilfigers and the H&Ms and the Zaras, they've got teams of merchandisers and supply chain experts, and they know exactly the prices for the buttons and the threads and the zippers and the fabric. As you said earlier, I mean, it just comes down to the profit margin. That's all they want. That's their main thing, is to figure out how much of a profit margin the factory is charging, and then they'll just negotiate that profit margin. When you're dealing with the big boys and you're talking about purchase order of $100,000, $200,000, $500,000, they have a bit more say. Large factories that are serving the Walmarts of the world, nowadays, open costings is a given. Everybody knows from experience what the profit margin needs to be for both sides. Like I always tell people, I say factories make between 5 to 20%. My guess is you guys might be a bit higher. You guys might be 30 or 40, because it's a small fabric consumption, and you do excellent quality, and they're super emotional items, they're for kids, and women are wearing them out at the pool, right? So it's more of an emotional buy. So the buyer, the consumer, is going to pay a higher premium. So then down the line, there can be a fatter margin. But in general, I believe that Vietnamese factories are making between 5 to 20%. I don't know, what do you think?
That's a fair observation.
And I think it's important. It's important to understand that, because brands, assuming they sell through, like back when you worked for Le Usine, right? Assuming you can get the goods into the shop, that's easy. But selling through is harder. So if you assume that they sell through 90%, let's say, they're making 200, 300, 400, 500%. So 5 to 20. Be easy on us, don't try to squeeze us for 2 or 3%.
I think it's also everybody wants lower costs, right? Obviously, like, we do with our suppliers too. But there is a push and pull against, like the big guns that are ordering 100,000 pieces compared to we ordering 5,000 if we're lucky for the trims. That cost there, it's a scale. It's going to be a lot more for the 5,000 compared to the to the 50,000.
And
so
surcharges
it needs
that
to
are
be.
added.
Yeah, there's lots of surcharges that go along with when you're doing smaller orders, and that's just an actual fact. And that's why it is going to be more expensive. Not that we're making a margin that's high. It's because we have to put through these surcharges to our customers.
And the efficiency, it takes longer to make.
It takes longer to make what you call a sample run if you're doing 50 pieces.
A sample run,
because it's start and stop. It's not a flowy process. So it does take longer if you're doing 50 compared to 500 or compared to 1,000. So that needs to be thought through as well from a customer point of view.
And also, like, you're charging 2 cents for the button, and they say, well, I just found a button supplier. They can do that button for 1.7 cents. Then you also have to take into account there's a cost of getting the buttons from the supplier to here. And then what if the buttons show up and they're short or there's some defects, and now you've got to spend the time and energy to send them back or have them made more.
It's time as well. It's not just the product, it's our team checking it, making sure that it's all there, it's quality, it's
we
time
check,
ordering it, sampling.
We check fabric when it comes in for prints as well, to see if there's defects on it as well. So that in itself is time. One person manning that, and one person, if the time is a lot, again,
checking artwork.
Compared 50 to it's a lot of time.
Thanks for listening. Is your business struggling due to delays out of China or quality control issues in India? When is a good time to get on-the-ground advice or factory introduction from an expert in Vietnam? Schedule a one-on-one chat with me, or let's meet for coffee in Ho Chi Minh City. And remember, thoughts are things, and where there's a will, there's a way.